Let's let everybody roll in. Let me know if the show is working okay, later than normal. Today, it is spring break week. The schedule is a little bit off, but that doesn't mean that I'm not fearless and always here. I hope you guys enjoyed the morning Outkick the Coverage show. Thought it went really well. As always, we're on 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern, and then we are on in the afternoon here. Let's go ahead and get rolling. My name is Clay Travis. I am in charge here of Outkick the Show, which is brought to you by Oddshark. Go to oddshark.com for all of your gambling and informational related needs. You will be able to get hooked up there. We will have the Sweet 16 picks. I have been on a roll. I have been 33-16-1 so far, betting first and second round games of the NCAA tournament. And I will continue my dominant role with 8 gambling picks for you tomorrow, getting you ready for Thursday and Friday's Sweet 16 games. I'll then have the Elite 8 picks, all 4 of those, and we will be off and running. Again, I am Clay Travis. I am your fearless leader, and I appreciate all of you coming in for the show today. We began with the news that began last night. Donald Trump went to Louisville, Kentucky, and made an intriguing decision. He decided to slam Colin Kaepernick and point out that many NFL owners were afraid to sign Colin Kaepernick because they feared a tweet from Donald Trump himself. That is an incredible allegation, but might very well be true because remember, and I haven't heard very many people talk about this, Trump had just spent the day with Robert Kraft, the owner of the New England Patriots, and I believe I'm correct in this, he has nominated Woody Johnson, the owner of the New York Jets, to become an ambassador on his behalf. And so that in and of itself is pretty insane. From a sports perspective, not very many presidents could find out that they're under their investigation is going on into Russia contacts. By the way, the Supreme Court nominees hearing totally overshadowed. Nobody's even paying attention to Gorsuch. I believe that's how you pronounce his name, who it appears is going to be nominated with ease to replace Justice Antonin Scalia. And I am blown away that hardly anybody is paying attention to anything that he's saying, which is by far the most monumental thing that has been involved so far in the Donald Trump presidency. The only thing that might have lasting impact long range is this Supreme Court hearing, and he at Gorsuch. Gorsuch, is that how you pronounce it? I don't watch a lot of TV news, so I'm not even sure. I've just read the name in articles. If it's Gorsuch, I mean, he's totally done well in this hearing. And Gorsuch, now everybody's saying. Anyway, the next Supreme Court justice, I'll eventually learn how to pronounce his name, it appears is going to get nominated and approved without any difficulty at all because we're kind of caught up in all these different daily Trump shenanigans. And I do think it's interesting, and I've been all over this Colin Kaepernick story because you're hearing all the ESPNs of the world coming out and saying, oh my God, how is Donald Trump managing to impact this Colin Kaepernick story? How in the world is Colin Kaepernick not getting signed when you have all these mediocre quarterbacks like Geno Smith that are out there getting signed? And I come back to it again and again. And I can't believe I keep having to say this, but the answer is simple, and I'm going to preach it to you until it's drilled into everybody's head, young and old, across the country. His talent does not exceed his problems. And the protest was a problem from a business perspective. And so you can't analyze him strictly as a backup quarterback. Just like Tim Tebow, and it's an interesting point that I heard Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock make. I watched their clip where they argued that Kaepernick was the left-wing version of Tebow. And I do think there's some truth to that. There is a media maelstrom that follows both of those quarterbacks because they're famous for things other than their quarterbacking ability. Tim Tebow is a right-wing love affair. The right wing has a love affair with Tim Tebow. The left wing has a love affair with Colin Kaepernick. What both of them have in common is this. There isn't any interest in having a second-string quarterback who is a rock star. Think about this for a minute. Other than Tony Romo, who is the second-string quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys right now, can you guys name me a second-string quarterback on either Facebook or Periscope that is famous? A second-string quarterback that is famous and that we cover as a celebrity. Any of them at all? I'm curious. Can anybody name a single one? Garoppolo a little bit, but that's only because there's value in him, and he's not a legitimate contender for the throne with Tom Brady there. So Jimmy G doesn't really count because there's just talk about him having value as a trade bait. I don't think there is one. I really don't think there is another one that's out there that gets a ton of attention. Johnny Football's not in the league. This is a story that is a bigger story that isn't talked about in this aspect. Nobody in the NFL wants a second-string quarterback who is a story in his own right because it brings up a lot of drama that otherwise wouldn't exist. Think about it. The most popular person in the locker room when a team sucks and among a fan base is the backup quarterback, because everybody believes that if the backup quarterback was put in, the outcome of the game might change. Nobody else is that opinion apparent, right? Maybe at corner, sometimes people are like, oh, we got to bench this corner, he's getting burned all the time. But otherwise, no fan base is out there saying we got to get rid of this guy who's out on the field right now and replace him with somebody else. There's no backup quarterback. No backup quarterback in this league. Somebody says, oh, Michael Vick says hi. Michael Vick is a perfect example of so long as your talent exceeds your problems, you'll always have a job. Michael Vick went to Fort Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary and came back out and got signed by an NFL team because there was the belief that his talent still exceeded his problems. That's a perfect example. All the people out there trying to say, oh, it's because of his race, explain Michael Vick. Explain Geno Smith. Explain Byron Leftwich being in the league for like 15 years despite the fact that he wasn't very good. Explain Charlie Batch. There are lots of guys in the NFL who can hang around as a long-term quarterback if they are able to stand there and hold the clipboard. Charlie Whitehurst was in the league for 20 years, hardly ever played. There are lots of guys like that. And none of them have any kind of major profile attached to them because once you become a backup in the NFL, it's rare that you ascend back to starting quarterback status and ever become good again. It's a good question for you, too, hypothetically. I love having everybody out here hanging out with us because I can ask you that question. Can you name a backup quarterback who was initially a starting quarterback that became a backup quarterback, not for injury-related reasons, and then emerged back as a starting quarterback and was really successful? I'm trying to rack my brain in the last 25 years in the NFL. Doug Flutie? Maybe Doug Flutie kind of had a tempestuous career there. Warren Moon maybe had to go to the CFL. Kurt Warner doesn't really count because he was never I guess he gave up the starting job and then earned it back maybe at Phoenix with the Cardinals. Maybe Kurt Warner. There's not very many, is my point. Now, initially, I'm not talking about an initial backup who gets in because the first time Kurt Warner came in, he came in because of the injury to what's his name of course now his name's escaping me even though I can 100%. Trent Green, the injury to Trent Green, Kurt Warner comes in and he takes over. That's different. If you're a backup quarterback and you come in, like Brady came in after the injury to Drew Bledsoe, Romo came in after we had the Drew Bledsoe benching there too. Those don't count. If you're a backup who determines and then later proves that he can be a good quarterback, it's almost unheard of. It's almost unheard of to go from starter to backup back to starter. The reason why I'm saying that is I think most people are convinced that much like Tim Tebow, that Colin Kaepernick's career is over. I don't think there's much left there. I don't think very many people believe, oh, this is a guy who if we sign him, he can come back in and win championships for it. So that, my friends, is 100% the way to go. And if I happen to see your comment and I don't like it, you're dead. All right? I murder you. Clay Kyle here. If I happen to see your comment and I don't like it, you don't get the opportunity to come in here and say it. And the number one thing that's going to get you snapped, the number one thing that's going to get you sniped, the number one thing that's going to get you wiped out is if you comment on the topics that I choose on my own show. This is my show. If you don't like the comments, then you're gone. Steve Young's not a good example. Steve Young's not a good example because he was the backup to Montana for a long time, and then he came in. Again, use your brains. I'm not talking about guys who were backups and then came in. I'm talking about guys who were starters, got benched, and then came back. 100%, right? If you're a starter, then you come in, and then you get benched, and then you come back as another star. That's the question. That's the question I'm trying to figure out. So that is the truth. Alex Smith, maybe, but is Alex Smith really a great quarterback, or is he just the quarterback right now of the Kansas City Chiefs? But Alex Smith is a decent example. Alex Smith got benched for Colin Kaepernick, but didn't Alex Smith initially get benched because he got hurt? I can't remember that exactly. Whether or not he got benched because there was an injury and then Jim Harbaugh chose not to bring him back because Colin Kaepernick was playing so well. Again, that's a little bit different. If you get injured and benched and then you go to another place, that doesn't really count to me. Again, I'm talking about you're starting, you're then benched because you're not playing well enough, and you come back and perform at a high level. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying that in the last 20 some odd years in the NFL, we've hardly ever seen that happen. Hardly ever seen that happen in the history of the NFL. If one team decides that you can't play quarterback and you're healthy and you get replaced by somebody else, it's rare that you come back and become a stud there again. That's the truth. So you factor all that in. I think most teams don't believe that Colin Kaepernick has anything left. I think you also factor in that he's not a traditional quarterback. That is, you have to design a system for him when he's backup quarterback. If suddenly Eli Manning gets hurt, it's not like the New York Giants can run the exact same system with Colin Kaepernick at quarterback as everybody else, right? And then you also factor in that you're alienating a ton of your fan base if you bring in Colin Kaepernick. That, my friends, is why Colin Kaepernick is dead, and also why he was murdered by Donald Trump. Additional thoughts here. How about this story, which I think is pretty fascinating? The Brady jersey. Did anybody see the Brady jersey video? Hopefully you guys did. Colin Cowherd had it. I retweeted it. The Brady video that all the crew at Fox managed to track down. It's pretty fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go to my Twitter feed. Go to @ClayTravis. That's the feed of all of Fox cameras inside of the stadium. And they were able to find this guy on the Fox feed and then see him sneaking into the Patriots locker room despite the fact that he just had a media credential. He managed to get into the scrum of people surrounding Bill Belichick. And then he managed to get into the Patriots locker room, grab Brady's jersey. He now had stole Brady's jersey at Super Bowl 49 and at Super Bowl 51. I can't believe the balls on this guy to steal the jersey twice, and also evidently stole Von Miller's cleats. That is amazing. That's an absolutely amazing story, and it deserves more attention than it's even gotten so far. The video primarily, not the story itself. I saw everybody tweeting about the Brady jersey thief being caught down in Mexico and everything else. This is a licensed media guy who was there and made the conscious decision, I'm going to steal all this stuff from inside the locker room. It's amazing. An amazing story. Jay Glazer, Colin Cowherd had it today on The Herd, and it's an awesome watch. Go find my Twitter feed. If you haven't seen the video, there's about 2.5 minutes of video where they put it all together. Again, that's inside of the Fox video. Want to tell you right now, we got more of these DBAP shirts. Go to Outkick the coverage, OutkickGear.com. You can get these. I got them all the way up to 3X for you fat asses. I'm wearing a large right now. I'm 6 foot 180. They're athletic fit. Go get them. If you're as athletic as me, you'll look as sexy as I do. Also want to tell you right now about my friends at 30A Cottages. I'm going to be down at the beach for 2 weeks. I take my family every year for 2 weeks to the beach. Best beaches in the United States. I've been to a lot of them, fortunately. It's 30A, the Gulf Coast down near Destin. And my guys at 30acottages.com will take care of you right now, March and April. March and April, use the code OUTKICK when you book. You get 5% off. Why stay in an uninteresting condo or hotel room when you can stay in a mansion on the beach? I'm telling you, these places are fantastic. I'm staying in a mansion on the beach for 2 weeks in May. You can as well. Go check out the houses they have for rent at 30acottages.com, and you will be glad that you did. I'll be down there over Memorial Day weekend. You'll be glad that we all make it down there. I absolutely love 30A, best beaches in America. If you haven't been down there, you should. Okay, ESPN, interesting story. ESPN, the Wall Street Journal, and I tweeted this link out too. I'm not a Wall Street Journal subscriber, so I can't read the full article. So if one of you wants to cut and paste your boy the Wall Street Journal article about this story and send it to me as a news story, I would appreciate being able to read it. I feel like the Wall Street Journal should give me a free subscription, but I'm not a member, so every time I click on the link, I get the "you're not a member" link, which is frustrating. And so I would like to be able to read the full article, but I did get several different links sent to me about ESPN. And what's fascinating about this ESPN story is as follows. To me, what's fascinating and amazing about this ESPN story is that it kind of dives into the average primetime audience and what it would cost if you had to pay for ESPN based on the primetime audience. And the average primetime audience for ESPN is around 2 million people every evening, all right? Like the prime time, it's the average number of people that watch ESPN. And for those of you out there, that includes the playoff games, that includes the NBA playoffs, which is it's one of its most popular events, and it also includes what I think is obviously the signature event of ESPN right now, the college football playoff, as well as Monday Night Football. And those events all rate a lot higher than, say, whatever tonight's going to have on a random Tuesday night in March. All of those events count into this, and they average 2 million viewers. This goes into my business model theory about ESPN. If ESPN was charging those 2 million people who are watching the show regularly on average, every one of those 2 million people, and a lot of times that would be me, a lot of times that would be you guys, would have to pay $323.75 a month. That's how much they make off of those 2 million regular subscribers. Almost $4,000 a year ESPN's revenue is coming in from it. And again, I like to give you all this because I think it's a massive sports business story and sports media story that isn't getting a lot of attention. ESPN has 88 million subscribers right now, 87 million. They're losing subscribers rapidly because the cable bundle is starting to implode. But if you got 87 million, a lot of people don't watch ESPN of that 87 million. In fact, on any given night, 85 million of those subscribers, or 86 million, are choosing not to watch ESPN. And that's continuing to decline if you look at their ratings because my kids are all sitting around watching esports all the time, right? My kids right now are all down on their iPads. It's spring break week. My 9 and my 6-year-olds are watching some dude play Minecraft. Rather than play Minecraft themselves, they're watching some badass at Minecraft play Minecraft on YouTube. That's what they choose to do with their free time. It's amazing. And if you have kids, or you're listening to this and you have kids, it's amazing how many of your kids will be doing the same thing. Or they'll watch some other kid open presents. Like, my kids would rather watch other kids open presents than actually get presents themselves. I don't understand it. Everybody thinks their kids are weird, right? Not just like individual parents, but generationally. I'm sure my parents thought that our generation was weird. I'm sure their parents thought that their generation was weird. But I honestly do not get it. I played video games. I still play video games occasionally. We would play the WWE fight with my 6-year-old. We play the old school wrestlers versus new school wrestlers. But guys, I don't get it at all. I don't get it at all. But that audience, they don't care about sports. They don't care about real sports. Like, they sit there and they're like, Dad, this is boring. Mom went to Michigan. We were watching the end of the Michigan-Louisville game, right? Was it Louisville that Michigan beat? Whoever Michigan beat. We were sitting around watching the end of that game. It was a tight game. We didn't know which way it was going to go. And everybody's sitting there watching it. And it blows my mind that they don't even really care that much. It's amazing. Like, they just didn't care that much about the overall outcome. Big win for Michigan. But ESPN is in trouble. Because right now people say, oh, you're so anti-ESPN, you're so anti the bundle. I'm not anti it. I'm just pointing out a real story that's out there. And the real story that's out there is this. Look, guys, this is a major, major issue that's facing the industry. ESPN is making billions of dollars a year off of people that never actually watch ESPN. And if people who actually watch ESPN had to pay for it, they'd have to pay $323.75 a month. How unbelievable is that number? Nearly $4,000 a year just for ESPN. And that matters because it ties in with all these television rights packages, which ESPN has driven up the cost for. Because they're paying for all these television rights packages with people's money who never watch the station, never watch the network. Every single person in America who has ESPN is paying around $7 a month. That's how they can end up with as much money as they do, despite the fact that only about 2 million people are watching it. It's wild. It's an unbelievable story. And that is in the Wall Street Journal this week. Again, you can go look at that graphic. I tweeted out the link. I think you guys will enjoy it, and you'll probably learn something. Hopefully you'll learn something from that situation. Okay, how many? And that isn't true. The real question is how many people watch enough that would pay? I don't think that many. That's a good question. I don't think that many. I think that's true. I think that's the big question, right? How many people would pay? And also, how much would they have to pay? But right now, based on the audience that watches on average on a primetime show, they'd have to charge $323.75 a month over the top to make up that money. I don't think there's that many people who would pay for it. I think there are lots of people who would pay for individual games. I don't think there are that many people who would pay for the entirety of the show. And also keep in mind, most people wouldn't pay seasonally. Like, why would you pay for ESPN in June, July, August, all the way through the summer? Why would you play at all? A lot of people don't like basketball. So you might only want to pay September, October, November, December. That's what the numbers would suggest. So that is a interesting story. Again, the biggest story out there. I thought that data from the Wall Street Journal was fantastic. Okay, how about story number 4 here? Have a little fun. Did you guys see the story? And I'm going to pull it up right here. This is from Spokane, Washington, I believe. Did you guys see the story of the coach who put his penis in a hot dog bun? It is an incredible story. And obviously, when I see the headline, Ferris High School coach suspended amid investigation into claims he exposed himself. This is an amazing story. This is an incredible story. The camp last August was hosted and attended by his football team. A couple of weeks after the camp, a player came forward and said that while Sharkey was grilling, the head coach's name is Sharkey, he turned with his exposed penis inside a hot dog bun. Sharkey said, "You think that is a big dog? Take a look at this." And the man is 50 years old. He's grilling out for his high school football team. Everybody is standing there at the grill, and evidently he says, "You think that's a big dog? Take a look at this," and puts his dick inside of the hot dog bun. I can barely read this story without dying laughing. It's an incredible, incredible story. The coach got a written reprimand and was allowed to coach this past fall. I can't imagine. It's amazing that he just got a written reprimand for putting his dick in a hot dog bun. Dick in a box brought to a new level. They declined to talk about what happened as rumors circulated. School officials acknowledged the investigation Friday. Sharkey called the allegations false, denied in interviews and writing that the hot dog incident took place. He vowed that he will fight to try to clear his name to protect what he considers his dream job. "They've not given me a timeline," said Sharkey, "but they have been specific that I can't comment on anything until the investigation's done. When this is done, I'll be happy to talk about my teaching and coaching affairs." When I heard what was going on, I was shocked and surprised. There were several adults around. I can't speak for everybody, but I did not see anything. Not everybody saw the dick in a hot dog bun. The heavily redacted records, they indicate that they questioned him about the hot dog incident after the first player came forward. Sharkey explained he had taken the players to his property as part of a leadership exercise. The kids camped in tents, swam in the river, and worked to remove downed limbs on the property. So basically, he brought the football team over to the property and just got a ton of free labor, which is awesome. He also said that it's a complete lie and absolutely false that he put his dick in a hot dog bun. By the way, which coach is most likely to put his dick in a hot dog bun in America right now? Vote for which college coach or pro coach you think is most likely to put his dick in a hot dog bun. Lane Kiffin's got to be the runaway winner. Lane Kiffin by far. Ed Ogeron also highly ranked. We need to do an article on this, don't we? Which current football coach in America is most likely to put his dick in a hot dog bun? Ed Ogeron, Joey Freshwater, Jim Harbaugh is just kooky enough. I love all these answers, by the way. You guys are Rex Ryan. Oh, man. He'd probably make a video doing it. Asked by someone why they would make the allegations, he said maybe they want me fired. Anyway, it's been unable to substantiate that he'd been drinking or exposed himself. The district was, however, able to substantiate that there was alcohol consumed in front of students by the camp host. By the way, if you go camping and you don't fucking drink, what are you doing with your life? I had to go take my kid to a Boy Scout camp once, and I was sitting there thinking the whole time, this is awful. Like, it's cold. All I want to do is just drink heavily by the fire. It evidently violates Boy Scout rules to drink while you're out camping. I mean, come on. I would actually judge the coaching staff if they were out there and they weren't drinking. But anyway, Sharkey was then allowed to coach the Ferris Saxons. They finished 5-5. But after the campaign, the allegations came roaring back. A bunch of students came forward to say they witnessed the hot dog incident. Again, this article is unbelievable. A girl also complained that Sharkey called her a, quote, puck slut or puck bunny because she was friends with hockey players who were rivals of Ferris. Another football player alleged that he knew of 4 or 5 times that players would gang up and dogpile a player on his birthday and shove their fingers up the player's anus, something the players called juicing, which is the only kind of juicing I've heard of that sounds worse than sticking actual syringes into your ass to get stronger. And then they also, he called one student a dipshit. He also confirmed, this is pretty funny, that he shot for U2 tickets on his computer during class. Templeton noted that Sharkey laughed when asked if he called a girl a puck bunny, but Sharkey said Friday he didn't laugh, but instead was exasperated. In the note, Sharkey said the comment was, quote, not meant to be inappropriate. I think some of this stuff's taken out of context, but I did say these things. He does, however, deny, I want to be clear about this, putting his dick in a hot dog bun and commenting on the side of the hot dog. Okay. Great stuff. I appreciate you guys. U2 tickets is a fireable offense. I've been to a U2 concert. Great concert. Sharkey, anyway, if you want to read that full story, I tweeted it out. Spokane Times, millions of people probably writing in to read all about Sharkey putting his dick in a hot dog bun and saying that situation is crazy. All right, that is the final story for the day. I will now do rapid fire and respond to any questions that you guys have. Again, my compliments to Sharkey for his decision to allegedly do this, which made my morning as soon as I saw this story. And thanks to you guys. Anytime you guys see stories like these that are crazy, that are zany, that are ridiculous, the kid who went swimming in the Crocodile River to try to impress his girlfriend, come to me and share those stories with me, because I love to put them on the radio show and I love to talk about them here. And obviously I like to tweet them out and share them with everybody else. So anytime you have one of those stories that you think I would like, or you think other Outkick readers, listeners, or viewers would like, just tweet it to me at Clay Travis, or you can email it. My email address is public, claytravis@gmail.com. Tommy Lauren, great question. Great question about Tommy. I don't agree with the decision, and I'm not an expert. Look, I don't watch very much actual television. I don't watch the Blaze show very much. I've been on with her a few times. I know that she is a total lightning rod for many people, but her coming out as pro-choice doesn't mean that she deserves to be fired. I think a lot of people have, and I'm one of them, political opinions that don't 100% correspond with Republicans and with Democrats. I'm pro-choice. But I'm fine with you if you're not, right? I don't particularly judge anybody based on their political opinions. But the fact that a 20-something girl would be pro-choice is not a stunning revelation. I think it reflects poorly upon the Blaze that they're not comfortable with a political opinionist who isn't a right-wing ideologue in every respect. So I'm on her side. I'm almost always going to side with talent in disputes like these, because I hate to see people fired for giving their actual opinions. So I'm on her side. She may be trying to get fired so she can move on. I think she's got a great future, great career. She's smart. She does well on television. She's like 24 years old. I think that Fox News would probably do well to bring her on more frequently than they do. If you're going to, I think the firing is BS. If you're going to mock left-wing people, for being insensitive and like quick to react, then I don't think you can criticize, a right-wing outlet for doing basically the same thing that the left-wing would do. I'm going to give you all my gambling picks tomorrow. I appreciate all of you hanging out here. I did not vote for Donald Trump. I voted for Gary Johnson, and I will give you all my gambling picks tomorrow. 8 different gambling picks. They will be up on Outkick in the morning after our radio show. Encourage you guys to listen to the radio show if you aren't already. 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern, nationwide, 250 affiliate stations on Fox Sports Radio. Sirius XM Channel 83. Tell your friends, tell your coworkers, tell your families that the show that will make their morning is out there, and it's called Outkick the Coverage from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern every single day. DBAP shirts up at OutkickGear.com. The radio show is on podcast. You can go download it. Search Outkick and it'll pop up, and lots of you have been downloading it, hundreds of thousands. We see the numbers, and I appreciate everybody who has been spending the time to go download it. Thank you for evangelizing for the show. I am Clay Travis. You guys, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I will try to stay out of trouble. Don't put your dicks in hot dog buns. DBAP, boys and girls. I'm Clay Travis. This has been Outkick the Show. I'll see you guys tomorrow.